Hey everyone! The first quarter of 2017 is just about to end, and there's already a lot that has happened in the first 3 months of this year. And the most pertinent question that I hear all the time is, why do you women make a fuss of everything, and why do you march? Why do you need protests and marches to voice your opinion? In this video, I have collected very few handful of the things that I saw in my newsfeed. There are tons other, well, more than a ton multiplied by a million times things that have happened, but these are just a few that I came across and I wanted to share with you. Please mind you, there are graphic images in the video, so viewer discretion is advised. Number 1. Saudi Arabia launches Girls' Council without any girls. This may look like an amazing step for women empowerment in Saudi Arabia, but just when you look at the photograph there and there are 13 men on stage and not a single woman, you just wonder, why do they create a mockery of themselves in the whole world? I mean, why? Why would you just do that? Why would you talk about women empowerment without any, woman being in the room? They said that there are women in the next room and they are communicating by a video, and thus she or whatever number of women are there, they're not in the photograph. God knows how much of that's correct. The next one is the story of a blogger who wrote that she was raped in India by a yoga teacher, who claimed to be a yoga teacher. So any of you into spiritual things and traveling to India for visiting any ashrams or yoga schools, please be careful. The third is the horror story of the risky lives of women sent into exile for menstruating. So this is from Nepal, and because period blood is considered impure, any woman, girl who's menstruating, they are sent into this kind of poorly executed huts, and many of them die over there. In the next incident, there is a mother of 2 children who was raped by 9 men for 9 days. In another rape incident, a 30-year-old woman of Nepali origin was allegedly gang raped by 5 BPO employees on the occasion of Holi. After they raped her, they locked her in the apartment and she jumped out of the balcony, and by doing so, the woman injured her legs terribly. In yet another rape incident, there is this man called Shivarama Reddy who was arrested in Bangalore, and he in his statement said, "I need a woman every night." So he's a serial rapist, and this is one of the reasons why you should report rape or even a slightest bit of sexual assault, because this is the reason. If he has been raping one woman every single night, he is so confident that no woman will ever report him. This is why he's been doing it for so long. In another bizarre and horrific incident, a 13-year-old child is forced by her father to marry a disabled man for the most despicable reason. And the reason why the father forced this little girl to marry a mentally ill man is because he wanted a wife in exchange of this marriage. He wanted a healthy young woman for himself, and which is why he gave the daughter away to this man. One might think that in this part of the world, the western part of the world, things might be going great, but apparently not so much. The Dragon's Den, which is a business pitching competition, the judging panel laughed at a period's business idea that was pitched to them. They also said that it is odd to pitch a business only half the population use. And when the idea was pitched, the judges, including Peter Jones, were very uncomfortable, embarrassed, and giddy at the idea of the odd pitch. Apparently, the taboo of the period thing is very much still a thing in the Western world as well, not just in the third world countries. In another extremely shocking incident in Bihar, a 12-year-old girl allegedly gang raped by principal and 3 teachers in her school. They took her to the roof and committed the crime, and then the FIR was registered by the girl's mother later on. Another principal, this time a female one called Swati Deshpande, had opinions about girls and boys mingling together. She said, I have heard theories on why girls suffer from polycystic ovarian diseases at an early age. And she says that when they dress like men, they start thinking or behaving like them. There is a gender role reversal in their head. Due to this, the natural urge to reproduce diminishes right from a young age, and therefore they suffer from problems like polycystic ovarian diseases. So I would say, according to her theory, I would suggest that any of you women out there who are looking for contraception or birth control pills, don't do that. You can just think of a role reversal in your head, and you can control or diminish your reproductive abilities, apparently, according to this woman's crazy batshit theory. You might think that the obsession of Indians of getting a fairer skin is long gone, but it's very much alive, and so much so that they are now forcing Nepali women to sell their skin to make Indians rich and beautiful, the rich Indians more beautiful. So these poor women are trafficked, and for a 20-inch square of skin tissue, they are given just 10,000 Indian rupees, which is like about, 70-80 pounds, and their skin is taken off from them and they are left to die. In another horrifying incident, a newlywed bride on her period said no to her husband for sex, and he broke her collarbone in return. And when the next day she was admitted to the hospital with her hands all covered in henna, and she looking like a bride, the doctors were suspicious, of course, and they asked and got to discover the whole story behind her. Then her family was called, and when her family was called, her brother was supporting the groom who injured his own sister, and he said you should not have resisted. So this is apparently the state of autonomy of women's rights on her own body. When you go to medical college, you might expect getting information about all sorts of diseases and injuries and stuff like that, but you would never be given a class on how to deal with a male patient who is showing off his penis to you when it's not required. So this is the horror story of a woman doctor who's been going through this horror for a very long time. Her name is Dr. Atira, and she's spoken about her experience as a woman doctor in India, where she is being harassed by the patients, the male patients. And the last is a shocking footage of a domestic violence attack of a woman by her male partner, Mark Power, who has now been sentenced to 10.5 years in prison. But this is really, really distressing, so viewer discretion is advised. After watching this, I don't think you need to hear anything else about why we march.